What truly makes a hero? Is it their strength on the battlefield, the respect they command from their followers? Or is it something quieter, a battle fought not with a sword, but within their own soul? In the world of Ardonia, one man embodies this conflict perfectly. He's celebrated as one of the greatest swordsmen in the land, the decorated and disciplined leader of Feldon's armies. But beneath the polished armor and the title of captain lies a man burdened by a legacy he never really chose. This is the story of Captain Kiyoshi, a leader defined by honor and a man haunted by his own destiny. We tend to see our heroes as pillars of certainty, people who charge headfirst into their calling without a shred of doubt. But the best characters are never that simple, are they? Kiyoshi's story isn't just about his victories on the battlefield. It's about the quiet, internal war he's constantly fighting with himself. He questions the very path that has defined his entire life, wondering if being captain was a true calling or just an obligation passed down from his father and his grandfather before him. It's this conflict that makes him more than just a soldier. It makes him a deeply tragic and relatable hero, forcing us all to ask, what's the real cost of a life lived for duty? When we first meet Captain Kiyoshi, he is the very image of a perfect military commander. As captain of the guard in Flora, the capital city, he carries an immense weight of responsibility. His uniform is covered in golden badges, each one marking a career built on skill, strategy, and success. He's known as one of the greatest swordsmen in all of Ardonia, a reputation that inspires complete loyalty in his soldiers. And this isn't just for show. Kiyoshi is a brilliant battle strategist, able to make impossible decisions under pressure. He commands both human and feline soldiers, proving he can bridge divides and create unity in his ranks. From the outside, Kiyoshi seems to have mastered his world. He's confident, skilled, and completely devoted to protecting his kingdom. His interactions only reinforce this image. He speaks with an authority that leaves no room for argument, but he isn't some distant tyrant. He's approachable enough that his right-hand man, Alec, feels comfortable coming to him for advice. He carries himself with a disciplined air, like a man who has sacrificed his own comfort for the greater good. At the start, Kiyoshi is presented as the shield of Feldon, strong, reliable, and unbreakable. He's the leader any kingdom would dream of having. But as we quickly learn, being born for something and actually choosing it are two very different things. Beneath that perfect commander's surface, a deep and troubling conflict is always brewing. The story slowly reveals his personal struggle with the path he's on. In a quiet moment, he admits the truth about his past. The role of captain was never his dream, but his inheritance. His father was captain, and his grandfather before that. His family, his society, and tradition all expected him to take up the mantle and continue the lineage. This is the core of his tragedy. He gave up the chance for a normal life, not because he was ambitious, but because he felt an overwhelming sense of obligation. This wasn't a power he wanted, but a duty he felt he couldn't refuse. He throws himself into protecting Feldon, but you can feel the quiet sadness in his dedication. The question of whether this life was ever his choice hangs over everything he does. This inner burden makes his leadership even more incredible. He channels his personal conflict into an unwavering professional focus. His command is defined by a deep compassion and a powerful instinct to protect, especially civilians. He's a man who will always put the lives of the innocent first, maybe because he knows the price of a life lived for others. He can be quick to judge, especially when it comes to the laws he's sworn to uphold, but that comes from his commitment. He's principled to a fault, willing to make the hard, thankless decisions that no one else wants to. He feels the immense pressure of his family line. He's terrified of being the first captain in his family to let the capital city fall. This fear isn't just about losing a battle, it's about failing a legacy that he feels trapped by. Kiyoshi is a man fighting a war on two fronts, one against the necromancers at his gates, and another against the destiny that was chosen for him at birth. All of Kiyoshi's strengths and burdens come to a head during his ultimate test, the Battle of Falora. As necromancer forces lay siege to the capital, we see the culmination of his life's training. Chaos breaks out in the streets, but Kiyoshi is the calm in the center of the storm. His first priority isn't a glorious counterattack, but the safety of his people. He immediately starts organizing the evacuation of civilians, a decision that says everything about his character. For Kiyoshi, a victory is meaningless if the people he's sworn to protect are lost. His strategic mind is on full display. He gives clear, decisive orders, fortifying the city's perimeter and organizing his troops to hold back the tide of darkness. Even as the situation gets more desperate, his resolve never wavers. He's on the front lines, fighting side by side with his soldiers, a living symbol of Feldon's defiance. This is not a captain who commands from the safety of a tent. He leads from the heart of the fight, sword in hand. The Battle of Flora is the crucible that burns away everything but the core of who Kiyoshi is. It's no longer about legacy or an inherited duty. In the heat of battle, with his city burning around him, his purpose becomes crystal clear: to be the shield for the innocent, the last line of defense between his people and total annihilation. This battle is his finest hour, a heroic and terrifying moment that showcases his courage, his strategic brilliance, and his deep empathy. It's here that the weight of his name falls away, replaced by the simple, desperate need to protect his home. Kiyoshi's struggle between his personal feelings and his public duty is a conflict we see all the time, in stories and in real life. Which fictional character do you think captures this internal battle the best? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into your favorite characters. You can tell a lot about a leader by how they treat their people, and Kiyoshi is no exception. His bond with his right-hand man, Alec, gives us a crucial look at the man behind the armor. Even though he's a commanding officer, their conversations often feel more like those between a mentor and a trusted friend. He acknowledges Alec's fear of the Necromancer army, validating his concerns before building his confidence back up. He even shares a piece of his own story, reminding Alec that he was also once young and thrown into a world of massive responsibility. This moment of vulnerability is what makes him so powerful. It shows that under that hardened exterior, he's a compassionate leader who gets the psychological toll of war. He doesn't demand blind courage from his soldiers. He inspires it by showing them empathy. His promise to Alec that he will kill the Necrolord himself isn't a boast. It's a vow to take the biggest burden onto his own shoulders to protect his people. This ability to connect is the foundation of his leadership. He commands loyalty not just with his rank, but with genuine respect. The fact that his army is made up of both humans and Felinos fighting together shows the kind of inclusive environment that he creates. He doesn't see his soldiers as pawns in a war, but as people with their own fears and hopes. It's this humanity that makes them willing to follow him into the most hopeless battles. His relationships prove that a leader's true strength isn't just being the best fighter, it's having the heart to fight for someone. Every hero's journey has to end, and Captain Kiyoshi's concludes in a blaze of tragic glory. The climax of his story is his final desperate duel with the Necrolord, Zon Valtaris. In this fight, Kiyoshi is sadly outmatched. The Necrolord taunts him, mocking his failure to protect his kingdom. But even facing certain death, Kiyoshi's spirit doesn't break. His response is simple, but it says everything. "And still I stand." That one line is his entire character. His life has become one and the same with the survival of his home. He fights with every last ounce of his legendary skill, but it's not enough. The Necrolord is too powerful, and Kiyoshi is struck down. His death is one of the most heartbreaking moments in the entire series. He's mortally wounded, thrown backward by a blast of Zon's Zagrasium song. In his final moments, his eyes are fixed on the city of Flora. He dies looking out over the home he gave everything to defend. It's a moment of both ultimate tragedy and ultimate honor. He may have lost the battle, but he never failed in his duty. He stood his ground until the very end, proving his courage was never about winning. His death isn't the defeat of a captain, but the final, selfless sacrifice of a true protector. He refused to yield, and in doing so, he cemented a legacy far more powerful than any title he inherited. Captain Kiyoshi is a brilliant portrait of a tragic hero. He was a man defined by honor, duty, and a deep sense of compassion. A brilliant strategist and one of Ardonia's greatest swordsmen, he was a leader who commanded the absolute loyalty of his people. But what makes his story unforgettable is the internal conflict that raged within him, the struggle with a destiny he never chose for himself. He carried the weight of generations on his shoulders, trading a life of personal choice for one of public service. His journey, from the perfect commander to the valiant defender in a losing battle, is a powerful exploration of what it means to be a hero. He teaches us that leadership isn't just about strength, but about sacrifice. His tragic death, facing an unbeatable enemy, wasn't a failure, but the ultimate expression of who he was. He died as he lived, as the unwavering shield of Felden. Captain Kiyoshi's legacy isn't written in stories of victory, but in the heart of what it means to stand for something bigger than yourself, even when it costs you everything. He will always be a symbol of courage, humanity, and the incredible burden of a noble heart.